Hey, this is John 5, and you're listening to Talk to Me.
All right, that was Here's to the Crazy Ones off of Season of the Witch by John 5, and we're joined by John 5. How you doing today, John?
Greetings. I'm doing well. How are you?
We're doing great. We're excited to talk to you, man. So, first question out of the gate, when did you realize that you were just a better guitar player than everyone around you?
Well, I didn't. I just it's a strange thing with myself. All I like to do is, ever since I was like 7, all I like to do is watch TV and play guitar. And I would have my guitar on me all the time, and I would just play and play and play, and I would just be like, oh my God, it's nighttime. And that's like how much I would play, and I still do that today. Will just play and play, but I'll learn things. So that's the important stuff. I don't just sit and play for no reason. I'm like learning something new, all the time, which is very important.
Very cool. Yeah, the one thing, studying up on you and learning, Mike and I, we both grew up in the South, and Hee Haw was a staple of our childhood too. So, what is your recollection of Hee Haw back in the day?
Well, that's a great question because, I loved Hee Haw, just like everybody else in the 70s growing up. And families, they just crowded around the TV and they loved Hee Haw. It was what everyone watched. And, I still watch it today. I watch the old episodes and they just make me feel so good. So what happened was I was on tour with Zombie a little while back, like a few months back. Okay, and I remember there was this time, I remember watching Hee Haw. I was 6 years old, and I saw this kid playing banjo on Hee Haw with Roy Clark. So I was on YouTube, and I put in little boy banjo player, Roy Clark, Hee Haw. And wouldn't you know it, here it comes. And that is the moment that changed my life, was watching this kid. That was the moment that made me say, I'm going to play guitar. And the song they did is a song called Orange Blossom Highway, which I do a cover of, but I changed the title to 666 Shooters. But I did the theme from that song. I mean, it's such a weird coincidence, but it's the truth. And it's so cool to see something that changed your life forever. And I love the girls on there. Oh my God. Everything about that show I just really loved. And that's why I did that song, Hell Haw.
Now with the Hee Haw, is that where your love for the Telecaster first came into play? Seeing the guys on Hee Haw?
Absolutely. They all played tellies, and I didn't know what a Telecaster was. I just knew what an electric guitar was. But it was burned in my brain in that shape. And that's why I play a telly today, is because, so that show, I guess that show has had more influence on me than anything else in my life. Seeing the kid playing, then also, playing the Telecaster and all that stuff. So yeah, it's had such a massive influence on me.
So with the Hee Haw, and your story kind of mirrors my story of growing up watching Hee Haw with the family, and then, also my other cousins being really big into Kiss and showing me Kiss, which was, demons with guitars, and, thinking that Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was a cinematic, gem and things like that. What was that like for you, kind of going from, kind of watching the Hee Haw type stuff and then going into watching, getting exposed to Kiss?
Well, everything is epiphanies, and you hope for influence in your life. And, of course, just like any kid, I loved monsters. I love monster movies. And when I saw Kiss early on, it was like monsters with guitars. And I was so like, just my life changed again, because at that point, I was listening to the Monkees. I guess anything on TV that had guitars, the Monkees, Hee Haw, Happy Days. But when I saw Kiss, that was it, and I remember my dad saying, "Oh, this is a fad. You'll get out of it, one day." When, I was like probably 8 or something like that. But still, I love, Hee Haw. I love Monsters, and I love Kiss still to this day. Thank God I do, because I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
So I got to ask, being the Kiss nerd that I am, outside of Ace Frehley, who I know that you're friends with, who would be your next pick as your favorite Kiss guitarist?
Yeah, I'd say Vinnie Vincent. I love Vinnie Vincent.
Thank you. I was hoping for that
Yeah.
answer. Now, speaking of...
Yeah, are you a Kiss nerd?
Yeah, I am. But, it's kind of funny that you go to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's great that you're a Kiss nerd.
Yeah, man. Speaking of somebody like Vinny, he went on to a solo career, and his playing was always over the top. Now, what I've always liked about you and your career is, whether it be from playing with the DLR Band or Manson or Zombie, you always play for the group, and it's kind of like, or the song, I guess I should say. It's not too much of overtop and flash. Everything just rolls smoothly, and when you're with Manson, it sounds like Manson. When you're with Zombie, it sounds like Zombie, and so on. And honestly, in DLR Band, the first time I heard that album, I was like, shit, I think, is Eddie back in the band? Because it was just, you were able to capture the feel and then bring your own to it. Now, when you go to your solo albums, is what I like, is the over the top. Do you find it hard to make the distinction in, I guess what I'm saying is, do you find it hard to make the distinction in keeping your playing for a band style versus the over the top stuff of your solo career?
I really think that's why I've always been hired for, throughout my life, I've always been hired and kept around, because I've always played for the song. I always understood that I'm not playing for myself. I'm not there to go, look at me. I'm there to go, wow, this band has never sounded so good. And that was my hope and dream.
Yeah.
Is when I got into certain bands, I wanted it to sound live. I wanted it to sound better than it ever did before. And that's still my, what I try to do every show. If I'm playing with Rob, I want it to be perfect. We just played in, not just a little while back now, we were in Chicago, and we did the whole White Zombie Astro Creep album from beginning to end. Now, I didn't improvise. I didn't do anything like that. And I just played everything exactly how it was on the record. And because I respect that music. I respect it. It's great music. And I just always want to give, if there's a piece of music written down, you play what's written down on that music. And I always think of that the same way, if it's Marilyn Manson or if it's Rob Zombie or if it's anyone else. You got to play what was recorded, because if it was something else, they would have put something else on the record.
Very cool. Yeah, I was at that Riot Fest show. We drove up from, we do this show out of Louisville. I drove up to Chicago to see that because of, you guys doing Astro Creep in its entirety, which is one of my favorite albums, plus the Misfits being there. And then, there were a few other bands that had some stuff going on that I wanted to check out. But recently I heard Rob say in an interview that you guys didn't rehearse that album. Was he saying that he didn't rehearse it with you guys, or you guys didn't get in a room all together and rehearse it?
What we did is I got with the guys. I got with Ginger and Piggy D, and I grilled them. I just really, really, like, piece by piece, verse by verse, chorus by chorus. We just got it perfect. And then we would rehearse it with Rob at soundcheck. And, we'd do 3 songs. It was when we were on tour with Korn.
Okay.
And we'd do a few songs here, a few songs here. But I made sure everything was perfect. Perfect. And, because this is an important record to
Absolutely.
everyone, myself included. And I wanted to make it as great as possible, that performance. And I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, from where I was in this, in the crowd, you definitely, all you guys did it justice, and I think it was an amazing evening. And then the Misfits to follow that up, you couldn't ask for a better show.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And there was another thing you guys did, and I don't know if it's just something you guys do live or you guys did it then, but Rob, you guys did Thunder Kiss. I believe it was during Thunder Kiss, and you guys, started it and then you stopped it, and then Rob made everyone put their cell phones up, and then you started it again, and the crowd, like the energy of the crowd after he made everyone put their cell phones up was something I haven't seen since the 90s. It was amazing.
It's funny. Everybody says this about their singer, but I think in my eyes, he's like the greatest frontman because he knows how to talk to a crowd. He knows how to address a crowd. He knows how to get them like crazy or anything like that, which is so hard. The reason I'm saying it's so hard, I'm doing these instrumental shows, and it's a lot of notes, and it's perfection, and it's timing, and it's, all that stuff that is so hard is like, it's relaxing to me because I rehearse so much. But when I have to talk to that crowd, that's the scariest part of the night. It's tough to talk to a crowd. My voice sounds stupid speaking. When I talk over a mic, I sound like an idiot. So, but Rob does it, he's incredible. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing time. I kind of wanted to go back to some Kiss nerdness with you, and it came out recently that
no problem, my pleasure.
You were kind of the catalyst in getting Gene and Ace together at the Ace Frehley show in California. Can you kind of walk us through how that happened?
Gene is my buddy, just like Peter, Paul, and Ace. And I was talking with Gene, and I emailed Gene, and I said, Gene, hear me out. Let's go down the street from your house. Ace is playing right down the street. Let's go have some laughs. Let's go watch Ace. I'll pick you up. We'll park right in front. We'll walk in. We'll have a great time. Because me and Gene will get together and we laugh and we have a really good time. I mean, I love the guy. Love the guy. I've known him for, years, and he's the funniest, best guy. So I'm thinking he's going to email me back and go, I can't do that, or that's not a good idea, or I'm busy. And he emails me back, and he goes, okay, let's do it. And I set it all up, made sure we had our parking right in front, and walked in, and, we were sitting in the room. Ace wasn't there yet, and Ace walks in, and I'll tell you, man, those guys started talking like they have been, they didn't miss a beat. They were just talking like no time has passed. And they were talking about the Coventry, and they were talking about the Daisy, and it was so cool. It was like really cool. And I didn't say a word. I just listened because these guys were talking, and just talking and talking. And it was so great. And we all had a great night. Ace sounded amazing. Ace sounded great. And me and Gene were watching on the side of the stage, and we had a blast. And we just all had, it was a night I'll never forget. And I'm so glad we did it.
I really get the feeling after listening to Ace recently and reading in interviews, I really do get the impression that a lot of the drama these days is just pretty much made up by the press. Do you feel the same way about that between the original four guys?
What I've experienced, and I'm very, very, very close to Peter. You know, I'm close to, you know, all of them. I talk to all of them. They all love each other. You know, they have such a history together, and you know, I didn't see any weirdness at all between Gene or Ace at all. They just seemed like two great friends that caught up and had a great night. So you know, yeah, I don't. That's just from my eyes. I don't see any drama or anything. But that's, you know, what do I know? I'm just someone on the outside looking in. But I just see, you know, four guys that, you know, have respect for each other and love each other.
Gotcha. Then, as with Kiss, and then also circling back to, you know, your time with David Lee Roth. I mean, it's got to be something crazy to wake up every day and realize that, you know, you've grew up listening to Van Halen, right? And then now you haven't been a part of the DLR Band, and supposedly there's another album you guys did together. But do you think that'll ever see the light of day?
I think it might. I think I was just with Dave before I started this tour.
Really?
And I think it might see the light of day. I think he might want to do something with this, which, you know, I really hope so, because it's great. And Dave's awesome, man. He's totally in shape, and he's bopping around. So he's doing great, man. The guy is like a superhero.
Let's talk a little bit about your solo tour that you're out on right now. And the one thing I've noticed looking at the dates, you have 0 days off. I mean, you just like to go out and just pound them out, you know, no days off type stuff?
I know. I just go out, pound them out, man. It's crazy. Because when there's no singer, you know, like, no one's going to blow their throat out. I'm blowing my throat out from just talking to the crowd. No, I'm just kidding. It's great. You know, we're having a blast. And I'm very fortunate. I'm very happy. I'm psyched. And the shows have been wonderful. And I'm really happy that people enjoy this crazy, crazy trip I'm on right now, you know. And it's special. It is a very special thing, and you got to come out and witness it to check it out. It's really something else.
Yeah, we're actually going to catch your Indianapolis show at the Vogue. I should be out there in the photo pit getting shots of the show, and Josh and I are both riding up. Hey, on your album.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
We'll be there for sure. I missed your trip or your stop last time at the Vogue. It was pretty much this time last year, I believe. Pretty close.
Isn't that? It's weird how that's working out. You know how you know. Well, I guess it makes sense because, you know, I'm on tour with Zombie at the summertime, so I guess this is my tour to time with the Creatures.
Now, one thing I do. When it comes to instrumental albums and guitar albums, I fall off kind of quick once I start one. And the one thing that your songs on your solo albums always seem like they're the actual, it's not just an instrumentation, you know, it's not like a guitar fest. And it seems like it's constructed like your guitar lines. When you write those, do you have like lyrics in mind that you're kind of playing a melody to? Because your songs just come off very well constructed.
That's kind of how I arrange it, you know, but I try to arrange it as a cool rock tune or a cool country tune or something like that. And
yeah, that's how they come off.
Totally insane. Yeah, and put totally insane guitar work in it. So, because, you know, I want it to be where people can listen to it and go, yeah, you know, I did this. And I want it to be where it's different, and it's not just the same thing, you know, the same thing for 9 songs or something like that. I want it to be completely a different thing so people can enjoy it. And then the show is just like, you guys are really going to dig the show. It's something else. It's really a lot of fun. And surprisingly, a lot of girls come to the show. And I'm not saying, like, you know how, like, metal bands say, hey, yeah, a lot of girls come to our show. No. And it's like the waitresses and stuff like that. And then, but it's surprisingly, a lot of girls come to the show, too. And it's really cool, you know, because it's a fun show, you know. So I'm really fortunate, and I'm happy that things are going so well.
Very cool. And just one more thing real quick. When you listen to music, can you honestly listen to music and enjoy it, or is your brain so wrapped around the guitar that you hear what's going on and you're like, oh, well, that guy's playing an A to a diminished E to a, you know, like a F7. And do you listen to music that way, or do you listen to music in a pleasurable way?
In a pleasurable way, for sure. I love listening to music. And I just, you know, I love Steely Dan, and I love Slipknot, and I love the Dixie, and I love Ministry, Clark, and I love Slayer. You know, I just love music. I love music, and I just listen to it for, just like everybody else, I enjoy it, and it makes me feel good. And of course, I love Kiss, I love Dressed to Kill, and I love Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun and Hotter Than Hell. You know, it's just like, you know, I just love listening to music. It's a gift.
Well, since we're Kiss nerding out, what's your favorite Kiss album?
You know, a fine question. I would have to say Dressed to Kill.
That's mine as well. That's a great album.
Yeah, really cool.
What about you, Josh?
Great album.
I'm a huge Destroyer fan myself.
Yeah, everybody loves Destroyer when it that was everyone's first record, you know. Yeah, which is a great record, of course.
I can to this day still remember being 9 years old and putting the record needle down on my cousin's copy of Double Platinum. He's like, "You want to hear music? This is Rock and Roll All Night." And I just sat there and like put the needle back, and it's to this day one of my fondest memories of music.
Yeah, it's a gift, man. It's people have to watch out for these signs, because these signs will change your life, and it's a wonderful thing, you know.
It is. Well, John Five, man, thanks so much for taking the time today, and we definitely appreciate you having you on. And we'd like to end the show with the song picked by the artist, and pick your favorite White Zombie / Rob Zombie song to play live.
Let's see, a fine thing. Let's see. I am gonna say, what do I love? I mean, there's so many I love to play. Let's do Dead City Radio.